Hello and welcome to a Coach Dave Academy hot lap and guide from myself, Matt Emery, for the new season in the Porsche Cup, week 1 here at Willow Springs. I'll be showing you a few tips and tricks around the track, what to look out for, and things like that. So let's crack into it. So here we are then, guys, for the track guide of Willow Springs. Now firstly, just before we get into the lap, something you're going to notice a lot with this track is there's no braking markers whatsoever. So obviously your standard sort of European and American tracks, you obviously usually get the 150 meters, 100 meters, and then 50 meters. You don't get any of that here. So you're going in a bit blind already. It does take a bit longer to learn the track. Something to look out for. You're going to be driving a little bit more on instinct and what you feel the car doing rather than visually. So I have something to note firstly before we go into the lap. But heading down into turn 1, it's a left-hander. So you're going to want to keep it as far to the right as you can. And that is the wrong lap. Let me go back. There we go. So yeah, braking into turn 1, carry quite a lot of apex speed, and entry speed, sorry, as there is a nice bit of camber you can use. So I'll play it all the way through. And then we'll go back. So again, no braking markers. You're going to have to work that one out for yourself where you want to brake. As you can see, I'm sort of braking. On the right-hand side, there's these signs. The third one in is around where I tend to brake. But it's really up to you. Obviously, the exit is the most important thing. So if you're more comfortable braking a bit earlier and then carrying the exit speed, then that's completely fine. So you can see coming into the corner, so using the camber that I said. Now this curb that you've got here, let me get out of the way. You don't really want to touch it, and it's a common theme around this track in general. The curbs are quite violent, so you're going to want to sort of avoid it, but get as close as you can to it. There is a couple of corners where you can use it to your advantage, but we'll go into that later. So again, just get as close as you can to this curb, and then again using all the track you can on the exit. Out to the white line, and then back across to the left. And then turn 2 is also sort of turn 3 as well. You're going to want to keep that nice and close. You can see how close I'm getting here to the white line on the right-hand side. That is the quickest line. I did try a couple of others. You can run a bit wider and try and get a better exit. But from my experience, there's more grip and more time to be found closer to the white line. And you don't want to be throwing away unnecessary lap time. So, as I say, I'd rather keep it close to this inside white line. Similar to Road America's Carousel, it's a very long right-hander. There's a multiple different lines you can take. So coming down to the round to the exit, sorry, it sort of bottlenecks here a bit, so it tightens. And again, you're basically on the white line as close as you can. And then that will feed out, and visually you'll sort of get used to where the corner opens up. Run it as close as you can to the white line in the exit. And then you see coming into turn 3, it's a little bit like Laguna Seca's corkscrew, but going up it. So it's a bit like a reverse corkscrew. You want to take quite a late apex in the first part of the corner, just as that allows you to carry more speed on the entry. So again, as close as you can to the white line of entry, and then nice and deep into the corner. And then a lot of lock-on I tend to use here. To get it into the late apex here. So aiming to get your tyres just about your front left, just about there. And then what you can do is open up the corner and carry that speed through the exit. Now, as you can see on the track, the darker patch, if I run it back a little bit, it would suggest you want to go in the middle of the track. But what I found is if you carry the speed through this first part, and then you run it out wide to the right, see how close you get to that white line there. I personally found that was quicker. Again, if you want to touch this curb here, you can just avoid it, get as close as you can to it. But what it means is you can carry that speed through the entry of the corner. Sacrifice this one slightly, but you don't lose too much time. And then it feeds through obviously to the double right, which I'll show you in a second. Yeah, so as close as you can to that curb. And then this leads into quite a long corner where you're going to want to be patient again. Now, you'll notice with this corner here, obviously iRacing's updated their grass and their gravel sort of physics for this season, for season 4. So gravel and the grass tend to slow you down a bit more if you touch it. However, what that does mean is you can use it slightly to your advantage. So you can see here on the apex, there's no curb. So the white line is sort of the limit. But if you can dip your wheel slightly in there, it does help with rotation. So it will sort of drag the car round the corner a bit for you. So if you're struggling with rotation on the corner, that is something you can do and look out for. I wouldn't suggest obviously getting on the gravel too much for obvious reasons. But yeah, if you are struggling, that's something to look out for. As you can see, I get quite close to it here without actually using it. You are looking to get on the throttle. If you notice my braking and throttle all the way through here, I'm dabbing the brakes slightly, just helping that front end. Obviously, when you're braking, you're shifting the weight to the forward, to the front of the car, sorry, and that's compressing the front, helping you obviously get that downforce on the front side of the car. It's helping you turn in. So you're braking slightly, and then you can get on the power as early as you can here. See, I'm not full throttle, but I'm close to full throttle, about 75%, and we're not even at the corner yet. You can use a lot of the exit. There's a lot of space you can use to run it out wide, which is why you can get on the throttle so early. And then you plunge downhill into this next corner, which I'll show you there. Now, what you notice is in this corner, this is probably one of the only ones where you want to use that inside curb, which I'll get into in a second. However, braking downhill, probably one of the trickiest braking zones for the whole track. Braking downhill always is, especially into one where you're sort of changing direction, you're going right and then left. You want to brake just before the curb, and also you've got this turret on the right here. So braking just about here. Be very careful of locking the front left here, as that will catch you out. It's called me out a few times, and you'll run wide, and that will compromise your exit all the way out of the corner. So it's something to look out for. But yeah, so as I said, braking just before the curb, getting into the apex and onto this curb. If you can, just want to get your front left tyre onto the curb, and what that does is, again, drags it around the corner, gives you that bit of grip that you need. And that's really important because, as I said, it sets up this exit, which you're going to carry all the way down this next straight. And obviously, if you get a bad exit here, you're going to be paying the price all the way down the straight, and that will cost you a lot of time. Again, similar to the last couple of corners, you don't want to run too wide on the exit. You're going to be wanting to focus, keeping it on the darker patch of the track. Just as if you drift too wide here, you're going to compromise the next corner, or make it a lot tighter. And this corner may look quite straightforward, but especially on your first qualifying lap, the first lap in the race when you've got cold tyres, the rear end goes really light through here, and you can get a big tank slapper on. And obviously that also kills your tyres as well, which is really important in this car. Obviously, you guys probably know the tyre model is quite sensitive, especially in this Porsche Cup car. So you really don't want to be sliding the car any more than you can help it. So you will feel the car go light through there, but try not to fight it too much. And if you need to lift, do a slight lift. I'm pretty sure I was flat through here. Yes, I was. So you can see on the throttle trace there, flat through there. And then, as I said, carry all that speed through into penultimate corner, completely flat out. No need to worry about braking at all or lifting off. So just go back as any visual markers. Again, just keeping it as close as you can to this white line without touching the gravel. As obviously it's a flatter corner, if you touch the gravel here, it will scrub off speed due to the new update that iRacing have brought out, which I know has been a bit controversial, but I personally think it's quite a good thing. So yeah, close as you can to the white line, and then into the final corner. Very, very tricky, this one, I'm going to be honest with you. Very easy to lock up and go straight on into the desert, and that's not so good for your lap time. So try not to do that. Again, not really a braking marker to use. As you can see, if you look to the right and the left, there's not too much you can use, especially when you're sitting inside the car. So let me just show you here. You haven't got too much to look at. So it's going to be, you're going to need to do a bit of practice just where you want to brake for this last corner. Obviously, you've got the pit straight that you're setting this up for. So you really do want to focus on the exit here. But yeah, braking about there just as the track goes slightly darker. So you can see the middle of the track does go darker there. You're going to want to start braking around there. Something I also noticed as well, there's quite a lot of camber on the apex here and on the racing line. Now, obviously, your traditional racing line, you're going to want to go as wide as you can on the entry, and then obviously go to the apex of the corner. What I found here is that can actually catch you out. So I try and stick fairly in the middle of the track, slightly to the left maybe. And what that will do is really help you get the car rotated. You can't really see it from this angle, but there is a slight bit of camber, which helps you turn the car. So you're just going to want to follow this line in here. And then, again, very early on the throttle here as well. Very important because you're going to be wanting to carry that speed along the whole pit straight. Yeah, and then into the apex of the corner. Again, not touching this curb because it will send the car quite wide. But as close as you can to it. And then the exit as well, you can see, not touching the gravel as that will scrub off speed. And you'll pay the price for that all the way down the pit straight. So I'll just show you that once more. Yeah, as close as you can to the apex without touching it. And then quite a lot of lock on here as well. You can see I'm not quite full throttle at the apex, just as I was understeering slightly. But most of the time you're going to want to be taking that full throttle. And then use all the track on the exit. And that just about completes a lap of the Willow Springs circuit. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. So there we have it, guys. That was week 1 at Willow Springs in the Porsche Cup car. Now, I hope that was useful and you learned a few bits of key information about the track. Now, obviously, you can go over to coachdavacademy.com and also join the extremely helpful Discord as well, which will have more tips, all the data packs that you'll need for the weeks ahead. And yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Take care.